This year, as the culmination of a year-long professional development program with Teachers for Global Classrooms, I had the chance to visit and work with teachers at Accra Girls High School in the Western African nation of Ghana. Ghana, whose primary language is English, is actually a country composed of over 56 different tribal groups. But somehow this African nation, while there might be turmoil other places of the continent, is able to live in peace. The flag, as you can see, the red represents the blood that people have shed, the gold for the gold once found on the coast, the green for the agriculture, and the black for the people. And if anything about Ghana, the people are its greatest commodity. Okay, Pete. Okay, welcome to Ghana. This is the Independence Square. You can see behind me there's an arch. It says Freedom and Justice, established in 1957. That's when Ghana had its independence. I am here with Teachers for Global Classrooms. It's a State Department program that brings teachers to all over the world to do exchange programs to kind of learn from one another. Ghana so far is, from what I can tell, the biggest commodity is its people. Everyone is super nice. So hi to Okanamawak and welcome from Ghana. One of the things that I cherish about my time in Ghana, as well as international experiences in general, is the chance to see how other people experience reality. And things like food, dances, and festivals, those are important, but I think those are only a starting point for helping our students understand what it means to be a global citizen, and what it means to see a different perspective on life. One of the great things in Ghana is that it's a very collaborative culture. In Africa in general, people don't have much for resources, but what they use, they share, and they really look after each other, more so than a lot of other places I've been. During my time in Accra, I worked at Accra Girls Senior High School, where I worked in collaboration with two teachers who had been to the United States before on a similar program, as well as a headmistress. The students at this school are utterly amazing. Like many schools in Ghana, Accra Girls Senior High School is a boarding school where over 1,000 of the 1,800 girls actually live on campus. This is common in Ghana, that even in the public schools, students actually live on campus. Every morning the girls started with prayer and morning assembly. At Accra Girls School, the average class size was about 60 students. At times, I had the chance to be a guest lecturer and an observer in classrooms of over 90 students. Like many schools in Africa, especially public schools, this school was very resource deprived. At times, they didn't even have electricity in the classrooms. Computers were few and far between, and so was things like paper for copies. What it wasn't deprived of was some of the most motivated students I've ever seen. Quite honestly, these girls are amazing. Here you can see an example of what a physics class looks like. One resource that the girls have was being able to work together. Collaboration was a huge part of the learning process in Ghana, and you can see that these girls really were independent learners and worked together. I think a lot of that motivation comes from the fact that only about 30% of students in Ghana actually go to secondary school, because it does cost money, even the government schools. It's easy to see that the girls truly valued their education. Here, a student talks briefly about why they value their education and how many people don't have the opportunity. He said,
most especially the girls, they don't get the opportunity to go to Exeter because of the financial problems we have in Ghana. they are left to fend for themselves.
Okay.
They engage in prostitutions and
Okay.
others. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of that, teenage pregnancy.
It's a big problem. Yeah. You should wait until after they finish school, right? Yeah.
But because their parents don't have money, they're forced to do that.
Yeah. Do you would it be helpful if secondary school was free?
Yeah, I think so, because it will be a big opportunity for those who are financial status are not good to also go to school.
Okay, because in the United States, all of high school, the public high schools are free for everybody. There's private high schools which cost a lot of money, but most people go to public high school, and it's free for anybody. They have to go. It's the law. So anyway, thank you. While in Ghana, I got to know and work with two collaborative teachers. Jonathan Law was the head of the science department, and Osman Omar. Both are examples of very hardworking teachers in Ghana. Osman invited us to his home community one day.
So, and Osman, could you tell us a little bit about where you live and what it's like here?
Yes. We are in the Mamobi, that is one of the suburbs of Accra, a predominantly Islamic community where there are lots of Muslims that live with an Islamic culture. Here is a very congested area in Ghana, and most of the people had come from different parts of the country. It's very cosmopolitan and diverse, and the staple food here is Tozafi, that is TZX. Most of the compounds that are here, we have a lot of people. Sometimes you can get about between 20 to 30 people in a compound. It's a very congested area.
Okay. I had a chance to run some professional development on how to use the media, things like Skype and YouTube, with their students. So these are resources that they actually could at times harness. So here are some pictures of me working with Jonathan and Osman. This is a lot of what I did during my time at. Life at the school for the girls is pretty regimented. As you can see from the bunkhouses, malaria via mosquitoes is a huge problem, and girls would actually tell you about getting malaria once or twice a year and having to miss a couple of weeks of school year just for that. But you can see there's very little personal space for the girls, and this concept of personal space, which is probably having a lot as an American idea, is something that I think is challenging for many Americans visiting. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, this is school lunch.
You gotta speak right into it, Pete.
In Accra Girls High School. You can see there's probably about 800 to 1,000 girls in here. These are all the girls who board. So this is.
When you go to school, do you stay here at school or do you go home?
We stay here in school.
So, and how do you ever get to go home?
Yeah, we always like to go because the place is boring, and what we like to do, we can't have time to do it. But then it's so enjoying on Saturdays and weekends. We have fun. We call our parents and they come to visit us. It's so interesting.
Okay. And where do you stay at night?
Okay, we stay in the classroom to learn, and when it's 8:30, we go back to our dormitories to sleep.
Okay, thank you.
One of my most memorable experiences in Ghana was having a chance to visit Cape Coast Castle as a field trip with the school. This is where many of the slaves that ended up in North America actually originated. A powerful experience was visiting the slave dungeons in the castle. Feeling the oppressive heat and the smell gave you just a taste of the awful treatment that these slaves had to go through. It also made me reflect on our own American culture, and especially that culture in school, as how the inequities in our own education system between students of color and white students. And I look back at the repercussions of one race treating another race as objects, and must question myself, how as an educator am I helping eliminate the wounds that still occur from this time? No matter how hard the girls work, they equally like to have a good time. especially in terms of dancing. So some of the girls thought it was pretty fun to actually show me one of the Azontos, a popular dance in Ghana right now. Although the trip came to an end, the experience definitely hasn't come to an end. So already I've started working with Jonathan, Osman, and some other teachers from the U.S. on different ideas as how our students at Oconomowoc and the U.S. in general can collaborate with Ghanaian students on projects. I think this is the start for me of a new chapter in my own career where I'm really starting to understand what it means to be a global village and how I can bring that back to my students.